Hello, and welcome back to Beast Fables, a weekly show where we follow the lives of tiny animals in a massive forest. It's pretty big, guys. It's at least 16 square kilometers. I'm Brian, and I'll be your narrator for today's adventure. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the founder of Dungeons on a Dime, a publishing imprint creating entry-level, tabletop, role-playing content. You can find some of the awesome games that I've been making over at doad.co.uk, and you can find the Adventures on a Dime system here on Roll20 at roll20.net. Yeah! They're also our sponsors. We love them. I'm using all my words today. I am joined by Ver, Atlanta, and Eve, as always, for this delicious, delightful, delectable adventure. So, Ver, do you want to introduce yourself for us and tell us who you are?
I would very much like that. Hello everyone, my name is Ver. I use they, them pronouns, and in today's game I will be reprising as Balthazar of Blueberry Pond, a Toad Knight, and budding Mud Fury. So currently he's a mud sad because the funeral from the title of the game might be for his friend.
A mud sad.
Yeah.
A mud sad.
Mud sad. Like, I feel like you've got the 7 deadly sins, you've got the mud wrath, you've got the mud
pride.
Mud lust.
Mud pride.
they just love sitting in the mud. It's like, yeah, they're just in there living
Loving
their
it.
best lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, question. Pipistrelle, what mud would you be?
Oh god, good question. Mud sloth, probably.
Mud sloth.
Mud sloth! Am I introducing myself, or was that just... that's my
That's it.
introduction. Mud sloth?
Pipistrelle's gone, we only have mud sloth.
It's just mud sloth now.
No, Atlanta, please tell us who thou'st are.
Hello everybody, I am Atlanta, I use she, her pronouns, illustrator-y, comic person, whatever, and I am also reprising my role as Pipistrelle, kind of also, she may not be, like, a mud fury, but she could also potentially be a bit of a mud sad right now. Bat. Small baby, tiny boy, except she's a girl. I'm gonna shut up now.
And we have Thistle. I got distracted by something that came up on my screen. So this is why I was like,
I think
and
I
Thistle.
know what that thing was, because something also came up on my screen.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Eve.
Eve, what do you do as a profession?
I do things. Okay, my name is Eve, my pronouns are they and he, and I am playing Thistle, who would probably be Mud Envy, I'm gonna say.
Ooh.
And I am a comic freelancer and publisher. That's what I do.
That's
Hell yeah.
amazing. I just want to say that Mud Envy feels like an extra gender.
Mud envy.
Mud Envy.
Like my pronouns are Just I want to be.
Envy.
Yeah, I've definitely
Yeah.
been a mud envy on some days.
You know, it's It's what I want to be.
We've all been there.
And do you have any other special announcements this session?
So, I've got one little announcement. It's really special. I have a Kickstarter coming out. It's literally live right now. It's for my game of Apothecaria, set in the Beast Fables universe. You know what? I'm going to be brazen. I'm just going to go and open a whole new tab for it. There's a card where you can read all the rules, and you can go to the Kickstarter, and it's beautiful, and it's open as a video. Oh, I just looked at how many backers we have. I shouldn't be doing that. That's dangerous.
Don't do that. Not yet.
But it literally launched like 9 minutes ago, so hooray! But it's beautiful, it's got all this information on it. I did all the illustration, and I wrote it, and I've been partnered with my friend Anna, who makes loads of solo journaling games. Basically, you are an apothecary, or an apothecary, journeying around the Bristley Woods, making potions, helping beasts, and maybe even setting up a national health service. Because, love it. So, I'm going to close that tab now so that I don't obsessively look at it every 2 seconds of our game.
It's really great. I got to do a little test play with Brian a couple of days ago, and it's really fun. If you're listening and you haven't tried it yet or you haven't seen it, please go and back it. It's going to be such a fun. It's a great autumn game, actually. It's great for it's great for sitting down on rainy days and just journaling away. I love it. Round of applause for you, Brian.
Thank you. Genuinely, I'm like,
just
I should write proper rules. I should write proper rules for like 2-player version because it was really fun playing with someone.
It was so
Stretch
fun.
goal, maybe?
Ooh.
Maybe. Or I'll just do it. Who knows? I'm crazy.
Do it, yeah.
Like on the campaign, all of the stretch goals, we've just put down as like, if we get extra money, here are things we want to think about, but we're not committing to anything because, everything's crazy. But like one of them is just like, we're going to make a wallaby island because wallabies are in Scotland. So
for some reason. Yep.
It's legit. We're doing it.
It's the weirdest fact I think we ever learned through Beast Fables is there is in
The
fact
Wallaby
an island of wallabies somewhere in Scotland, and it's like, yeah, but why though?
Where?
Loch Lomond. Literally Beast Fables. The middle of the Okay, I'm gonna point it out. We are going to the world map.
Bananas. It's crazy.
So, if I delete this, I think it's one of these islands. I'm going to shift click so we all get dragged there. It's one of these islands. It's owned by some random... Well, it was. It was owned by a very eccentric Australian immigrant who just brought over a bunch of wallabies, put them on an island, was just like, I think these are neat. Had a whole Marge moment. And then just put them on this island, and then... They went, not feral, but like wild. They just lived there, and they obviously like bred and made more. And then she died, and then people were like, who owns the island? And they were like, we don't know. So no one can get rid of them. And now they've lived here long enough that people are like, well, we can't get rid of them because they live there now. And they can't swim, so they don't leave the island.
They can't
funny.
They can't disrupt the natural order of things because they literally live on one tiny island in the middle of one loch.
Yeah.
Until there's enough of them that they can all like join their little hands and make a bridge to the land, and that's that's when we'll all be sorry.
That's when the Fire Nation attacked.
Tune in for that in Beast Fables Chapter 3.
Yeah, Beast Fables Season 3, The Wallaby Wars.
The March of the Wallabies.
March of the Wallabies! Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
Oh no, it's like got a really awful tag like, hop to it.
Oh god. Yeah, that's awful.
That's horrible, I love it.
We are so wildly off track right now.
We need to get our laughs out now because I don't think we're going to be laughing for the rest of the session.
That is a very good point.
Yeah.
So, the last couple episodes, our trio, Balthazar, Thistle, and Pipistrelle, have been, for their own reasons, investigating the Castle of Shalott, the massacre that happened here, the fire, and possible Noah collusion. They met the grief of Shalott, a hauntingly gaunt cat that aggressively tried to kill anything it met, and have since, after dispatching it and losing 3 companions, Quincey, Liminal, and Commander Bethany in the process, are now investigating around the castle in a kind of fading new dawn that feels, in the same way as the cat was gaunt, like a hollow Pyrrhic victory. We've already seen what Pipistrelle and Thistle did last week. Pipistrelle investigated in the upper levels of the castle and found a Noon Messenger post office, looking through the parcels and packages there, and getting a sense of life being interrupted the 2 or so months ago when the revolt that happened here happened. And Thistle actually found the object of their desire. They found the Poultice Pounder's office here, and collected some rather interesting notes about plant breeding and some more personal messages of a more serious nature. Meanwhile, Balthazar has been dealing with the loss of a companion, a fellow Mud Knight, and also going to the remnants of the Mud Fury camp on the outskirts of the island and collecting first of all his hammer and other things. So we're going to see how that plays out for him. So Balthazar, you were on the riverbank as Pipistrel and Thistle walk off to sort of talk and chat, and they seem to be swapping notes in a notebook. They seem quite happy. How are you feeling right now? It's maybe 7 or 8 in the morning.
Tired. He did pass out last session, for a little bit. Yeah, I think he's kind of, a little, dazed. Not just from the cold, kind of coursing through his body and causing that daze that cold-blooded beasts tend to succumb to, but also knowing that the at least temporary loss of most of his companions, and the I forget the opposite of temporary, the lasting loss of Quincey, are kind of weighing on him, and I think his thoughts turn to needing to perform the correct rites to send Quincey to the Dark Waters.
So, we've thought about those rites before, but do you want to go through what they are now that you have to work on?
Yeah. I don't remember if I remember all of them. I do know that the gist is it's a very kind of like Viking funeral, just without maybe setting the thing on fire, where you put a warrior or knight on a boat and float it downstream, and the notion is that eventually it makes it to the Dark Waters, which are the rivers and elsewhere, which is the elsewhere. It's not here. It's wherever beasts go when they die.
Yeah. So, looking alongside the river, you are able to start making some kind of makeshift boat. There aren't lily pads like you're used to, but there are reeds that you've started to weave into sort of like a raft, almost. They won't be as supportive and buoyant as a proper lily pad funeral boat, so you're probably going to have to strip Quincey of whatever he's wearing, the remnants of the armor that you haven't taken from him, like the breastplate and stuff, so that he won't immediately just sink into the water.
God, that would be so embarrassing for me. If I just, float him and just... he instantly goes down. Yeah, it would be just another morale kind of hit, I think. In that case, kind of floating him down is more important than having all his bits and bobs with, so... Balthazar is going to see to that. And I think, because Liminal took the strip of cloth from him already, so even though I don't think Balthazar knows what that was for, but then again, he doesn't know where Liminal is, so he's gonna do the same, not really knowing why he's doing it. But he's going to strip not strip, but take a strip of the material that would have the I do recall it was thorny log, I think.
Bramble log, I think.
Oh, bramble log. Okay, bramble.
Or thorny log. I think we called it thorny log and bramble log at the same time. They're just interchangeable.
Don't even know. But because last time you asked what I think the decoration is, and I did come up with it, but we didn't get back to the question. And I imagine that it's 3 kind of bramble berries, and 2 are red and 1 is black. And then it has the leaves kind of interwoven around this design. Yeah. So there's these little kind of spots of red around the otherwise kind of black and green design. So he's going to cut out a bit of that.
So as you go to prepare Quincey, you notice that there's no other embroidery like that on the jacket. It seems like Limnal took or cut specifically the embroidered patch from Quincey's under jacket, and that was a significant part of the garment, and now it's gone, if that makes sense.
I see. Yeah, well, so I'm not really able, so I'm not able to really, like, retrieve as much, is what you're telling me.
You can still cut some fabric from the jacket, but, like, the special patch is gone.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Well, he's still gonna do it, because he's just like, well, I don't know if, where Liminal is, so just, if someone needs this, I'm just gonna present them with this. Yeah, and with that, I suppose he's going to perform all the necessary rites. I don't think that toads, like, say anything. They're not, like, preach. Well, they are preaching in their own way, but they don't do, like, the like a prayer or anything. But I do think as he floats, or as he kind of wades into the water to, make sure that he can set this reed raft on its way. I think as he's already kind of pulling it into the water, kind of like pushing it in front of him, he's going... I think a toad, like, tradition is to kind of do, like, this low croaking song, kind of along the lines of, like, Misty Mountain's Cold, how they, like, went so low, the dwarfs kind of... And it was more almost like humming than singing. So I think there's something like that. That's kind of the ceremonial part. He's definitely taken part in quite a few of these before, so he knows the melody and but in the moment, as he's kind of croaking this song, it doesn't feel nearly as right because he's all alone. And usually it's many voices joining together, or what's it kind of like that. I imagine it's more like a humming kind of low croak than it is a voice necessarily, but yeah, it sounds very very small, but also maybe intimate because of that when it's just him. And at the right moment, he releases his grip on the raft and lets it allows it to be taken by the current.
Sort of poetically, the river takes it faster than you expect, and where you would hope to maybe watch Quincey float away, instead he's carried down to the dark water. Not down, but like along the river down to dark water, and is gone within half a minute.
Yeah.
Or, like, out of your sight.
Yeah. I think Balthazar lingers for a bit, and kind of realizing that there's he's sent off and he doesn't really even get to see him anymore, as in, like, doesn't even get to observe him floating down to elsewhere, or to the Black Waters. He is going to finish the somber song as he wades out of the shallower parts of or wherever he's able to wherever he went down to release the raft and returns to shore, and just kind of like has this moment of standing there and being very truly alone.
You stand in the sort of silt by the edge of the shore, and here the water isn't as numbingly cold as it was last night. And there's like a sense of peace and a return to what you know and what you understand. You sort of look down and you see like the little flakes of mud like drifting around the webbing of your toes. And after like the dramatic events of the last like night, because it's only been like 24 hours really,
Yeah.
You feel grounded again. What do you think? This is like a moment where Balthazar would find or start to align towards a new direction or to like a new purpose or mission or something like that. Do you know what I mean? What do you think Balthazar is starting to fix in his head as his new direction? Not literally, but like purpose-wise.
Yeah. I have a question to kind of for a moment to step away from the game. Is there not supposed to be any music right now? Because I don't hear anything. Sorry.
It's just quiet. It's just very quiet.
It is okay, because I just don't hear anything, and I wasn't sure. So I think it's not really like he has a new direction, because the direction is clear. You know, whatever happened here, it has to be prevented. And that is what they were seeking, is the source of this great upheaval that happened here. And I think he is still intent on finding it, because that's his task as a Mud Fury, but also it feels like the right thing to do now above all else. And so I don't really think like things are, crystallizing for a new direction. I think his direction is quite clear, but as he kind of maybe has this resolve, he then after a moment realizes that like he doesn't really know where to start. And he looks around kind of for these companions that he has in Pipistrel and Thistle, and realizes that they're not around. And kind of frantically looks around, snapping out of his somber moment, and just kind of just goes like, Pipistrel, Thistle, babe, and he's just gonna start walking towards the castle, calling out for.
So I think in a moment of dramatic irony, it's at this point the camera, because this is like in an episode where they have like that kind of the back and forth in time. Like this is the moment where Balthazar, you walk over the bridge towards the castle to sort of like look for these two, and at this moment the camera pans back towards the cat, the corpse of the cat on the river. It's this moment that the mouth opens, that Thistle and Pipistrel see something horrifying and are fully distracted in that moment. Balthazar, you walk through the ruins of the castle, and what are you doing? You're looking for like Pippin and Thistle. So how would you want to go about that?
Wait, did they walk away towards the castle when I last saw them? Because I think that was my impression. Oh, they didn't.
No, but
okay,
narratively this makes sense. Don't worry.
Okay. I think Balthazar is just kind of going to use his extremely superior toad night vision to scan the exterior and just like see if he sees any fluttering about or gittering about in the case of Thistle. Just to see if there's anyone like on the outside-ish areas.
You kind of scan around the outside of the castle as you walk round the back of it. I'm going to move these two out of the way. So like if this is the castle on the ground floor, there's sort of like this garden area here, this sort of collapsed arch here, and this is where the fight took place initially. So you're walking through the back end of the castle and looking around, and the castle itself seems to be similarly to how you felt grounded at the side of the river. It feels at peace. There's like a lack of tension here, as there was in the night.
It's like almost like a liminal space.
If, like, kind of in a joking way, if you hit, like, rest, you wouldn't get, like, the flash of you can't rest because there are enemies nearby. Like, there's a sense of safety that the stone holds now that the grief is gone.
Well, I think Balthazar kind of steps in, can hear the slaps of his little webbed feet on the cold stone, and he's just kind of gonna be peer inside, like, Pipistrel, Thistle, I seem to have Lost track of you too. Are you here? Just kind of, bumbling his way in.
Your little croaks echo in the stone, and there's not much of a response.
I think he's gonna look around. Is there any indication of that fire that was lit? Because apparently they're not here. Because of course they would answer him if they were. Why would they not? Because he could investigate the castle, but I think he is quite intent on gathering everyone together and being, because he did tell Thistle and Pipistrel the other day about his not the other day, earlier in the evening, he told them, earlier in the morning, whatever, earlier, he told them about why he's here and what they're seeking, and he wants to be hey, I'm a little low on the support right now. Would you like to help me, more or less? So yeah, he's quite intent on seeking them out before he starts doing any investigations of his own. So realizing that there's nobody at the castle, he's going to I think walk back to the little makeshift camp to see if maybe they're back there.
So I think it's difficult because we're kind of dealing with things that have already happened and also the story. So you walk back towards the camp, and I think there's sort of this switcheroo moment where you look, go back to the camp, there's no one here, you look up at the window, you see Pipistrel in through a little tiny silhouette in the castle, and you notice that the cat has shifted slightly, and that you look around, and you also notice that there is a mound of dug earth near the trees near the cat.
That wasn't there. Balthazar is especially the cat is moving. Balthazar is going to get out his I think he instinctively grabs the hammer.
You don't have it with you right now.
No, you said that I got it from the camp.
Oh, you were going to. This is sort of things that I said you were doing when you weren't here, so you haven't gone to the camp yet, so we're playing through all of that.
Oh, okay.
Because there's stuff for you. There's stuff for you to happen at the camp as well. Don't worry. Sorry. No. I was being dramatic and narratory.
Well, okay, in that case, he would have. Sorry, in that case, he would have gone to the camp after Limnol's funeral, because.
Okay. Cool.
He'd collect. I thought that was all done, and that.
No. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't understand.
We were playing through the past.
Okay,
so,
I didn't.
Rewind 10 seconds. So you go to the castle, you look around, you think, they're not here. So you think, you know what, I'll get in the boat and I'll sail across to the old camp that I had with Commander Bethany and Limnol and Quincey. You
I'm fine glossing over. I don't need to roleplay this out. I just want to get to where we are at the present.
Okay. Well, the important thing is you go back to the camp, you grab your stuff. I'll say if there's additional gear here if you wanted to add extra items to your bag. And importantly, you find a notepad from Commander Quincey. A clipboard
Quincy?
that's...
Or Bethany?
Quincy? Commander Bethany, sorry. Bethany.
Okay.
That I will share with you now.
Oh?
If I can figure out how to do the thing. Bam! It's in your journal now.
Is it in handouts? Or yeah, there you go.
Yes.
I do have a... Yeah, sorry.
It has a collection of notes on possible leads that you were following, as well as, if you want to look through them, notes on some of the team. They seem unfinished. As if Bethany was in the process of writing them and then the mission took place.
I think he's gonna scoop this up for now. He's not gonna look over it just yet, same as me. I just won't quite yet because I'm not very good at listening, talking, and reading in the same time.
Yeah.
He's just gonna collect everything and then return to the other side. I think I don't really want to dawdle too much on these past events that have already happened. I didn't realize what.
Don't worry. I wanted to give you the moment if you wanted to have it, but we can just move to the present. So it's at this point that you sail back from the camp. You're at the castle, and all three of you naturally convene at the castle, having done your stuff.
So do I still see the mounds and stuff around the cat now?
Oh
no, are we at the back of the castle? Sorry,
you're back at the castle. We retcon that didn't happen. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. I'm worrying, but I think upon. So I see everyone. We're back.
You see everyone. Everyone sees everyone. Everyone's in the scene together. Hooray!
Cool. Okay. I'm sorry. I was genuinely did not realize that I'm supposed to be I just thought that Balthazar was absent and that he's just been doing preparations, and now we're just playing that out. I didn't realize that there's stuff happening at the same time. Right. So now Balthazar will bumble his way over. Seeing, Pipistrel and Thistle and say, all of the, rites have been performed, and I managed to, secure, what I could from our camp, and, it seems that my commander had, some notes on the situation here, and I do believe it is my duty as a Mud Fairy, but also as a beast of these woods, to continue down this path, down this mystery that we have been pursuing. And I was wondering whether the two of you would perhaps be willing to accompany me between your skill sets and individual talents and cunning. I imagine that you could help me get a long way with this.
Thistle is very taken aback by this invitation. I think initially they're quite excited, but they already have a mission. So they look uncertainly at Pipistrel. Like, that was a very kind offer. Where are you headed?
He looks at the clipboard that he took that belonged to Commander Bethany. He says, well, this was Charlotte. I have to investigate, look for bones. It's here! I'm headed here! Maybe I should seek the counsel of the Cat Lords. Yes!
Council of the Cat Lords? Ones you've just sliced up?
Well, that was just maybe one of them. There could be more. And I offered that one a chance to speak, and he chose violence.
You wake up and chose violence. I think Pip would chime in and say, kind of peering at the clipboard in Balthazar's hands and say, well, we did meet those cat folk a while ago when we were still traveling. Do you remember Balthazar?
Yes, they had a wonderful carriage and didn't want to spare us water.
Yeah, quite true. Oh gosh, okay, Brian, I'm being stupid. Can you remind me where those cats were headed? Did they tell us where they were going?
Far north.
Yeah,
they were far north and they were going south.
They were going south.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So maybe they were returning here.
So they were going somewhere. I mean, okay. I think Pip was sort of carry on by saying, like, maybe they stopped here at some point. Maybe it might be a bit of a long shot, but who knows? Maybe there is a road going south that we could follow. Maybe it has cart tracks on it. I don't know.
Bones, he says, looking down at the clipboard. I can't say the word clipboard. Looking down at the paper. We have to investigate, look for bones. That's what it says. There was a possible murder here.
Whose bones? It's filled with bones here.
Oh, well, it doesn't specify. Someone who was murdered.
I think. Actually, I don't know if Pip has seen all the bones actually in the castle. But I think she would sort of she turned to Thistle and say, "Well, I imagine this would be your area of expertise. Did you see bones when we were in the castle?"
Yeah, saw loads of bones. Thistle doesn't know very much about bones, but is going to try to seem bone knowledgeable. I've seen loads of bones. I've seen big bones, little bones. Yup.
Bones. My goodness. We killed a cannery! Well, it seems that he's kind of going to hesitantly, like poke his finger at the investigate, look for bones part of the, this list and says, well, we found bones! Well done, everybody!
Aww.
It seems that there could have been a murder here. Maybe that's what led to the great upset of that, like the cat that we had confronted. He kind of continues looking at. Sorry. No, please continue. No,
What?
you go.
All right, we found bones. What's number 2?
Seek counsel with cat lords, but I think they're not here anymore. And the last one that was did not want to speak. Let's see. Holdall. Holdall is the next lead. Source of claw liquor riots and good folk movement. Claw liquor. It sounds hardly hygienic.
As Balthazar is speaking, when he started that sentence, Thistle had a silly little grin on his face, and as he continued speaking, that completely fell. Thistle is just looking so dejected now. Well, Holdall isn't there anymore. It was a source of the riots, yeah. That is for sure. What's number 4?
Grinder's Nest. There's rumors of behemoth issues. And, they might exchange services for information. He kind of, like, taps it with his like, fat fingers, like, tuck, tuck. Like, that sounds promising, doesn't it? I imagine we all have services to offer for information, and I've dealt with behemoths before. Grinder's Nest. Pipistrel, you wouldn't happen to have a map, would you?
She rummages around in her bag, stalling for time. Brian, would she have a nest? Would she have a nest? Lol. Would she have a map?
You got a big one last session, didn't you?
I did get the big
sort
map,
of like as part of this. I feel like Pipistrel, you go like, you were in like one of the upper levels when you heard Balthazar and you flew down without the map, and then Balthazar goes, "Oh, do you have a map?" And then you go, "Oh, yes, I do." And you kind of go upstairs, and then there's like some rummaging sounds and like scrabbling. A brick plunks,
noises.
and then out of one window onto the ground below, flop, comes down this massive canvas map that we will now look at. It is
exciting.
easily as tall as you, Balthazar, when rolled up into a tube.
Quite tall.
It is what is classified as a heavy item. You cannot carry it as part of your inventory. It is going to be something that will be considered in the story as you move it around. So like,
Carry it. I have
yeah.
no carried items. Except for
But,
my
like,
book
it's-
hat.
like it's so big that it cannot be like carried in your inventory. It's like if you are walking on the road, it'll be like and you're hauling a log with you, if that makes sense.
Well, it's
Oh,
fine.
but I said last session as well that I could copy it.
Hmm.
Or I could make a small copy of it. I think unfurling this huge map, I imagine that like I like to imagine that Pip's like standing on one end and she kind of like gestures to like Thistle to like stand on the other end. So like we kind of like sit on it to like spread it out. And so okay, I'm being stupid now. Where
Granger's Nest. It's here. Because we're
Yeah.
here, Shala.
Yes. We're gonna zoom in a little bit. I imagine that Pip would kind of like with one very long bat arm would kind of point to the nest and say, kind of like straining a little bit because she's like stretched out over this map would be like, oh, excuse me. I would say, we need to go east, and she kind of like points at the nest. But
Not
I
very
think-
far from here. I mean, it's far, but not as far as Shrewsbury or Summit.
That's true. I suppose if this is our only lead. But I think at this point Pip would look kind of quite inquiringly at Thistle. And just ask like what say you, friend, you did not seem can I retroactively, did Pip notice that Thistle's face like fell when like claw lickers were mentioned? Because she's quite perceptive, is why I'm
I
asking.
think. I mean, like, if you're asking me, I think yeah. Also, I think Thistle like wasn't hiding it. Like Eve described it as like obviously downfallen. So.
But so I think Pip would sort of like ask her, you didn't seem that that keen when we were talking just there about potentially being near claw lickers.
It's my job to be near clawlickers. I'll go near them as much as I need to. It's they get a little angry.
Mm-hmm.
Been sent to Holdall.
Claws all day, be angry too. What is that? Actually, wait, do I know what clawlickers are?
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Do toads know?
You've not heard the word before, and Pip, you have an idea. You've heard like people talk about them, but no one's ever explained it directly. But I'm pretty sure you guys can get an idea of what it is.
I have poor
Yeah.
cunning, I can't. I'd be angry if I had to look claws all day too. It's a bizarre. Is this some kind of guild?
Oh dear.
A guild? The clawlickers? You must be joking. Thistle is getting all aggy-patati, like a little vibrating lizard.
Oh.
I do apologize if I've caused you offense, my friend. I've been out in the field for weeks now, and previously, well, as told, we don't really participate in the society of the Bristley Woods nearly as, with as much, what would the good word be? We don't participate nearly as frequently, to know all of the, naming conventions that a variety of groups bestow upon themselves. Do forgive my ignorance. I'm asking in earnest want to learn and understand.
Clawlickers are the folk that eat meat. They eat other beasts. They eat whatever they can find. Thistle shudders a little bit. They're not the good folk.
Behemoths?
No. Meat eaters. They lick their claws, they eat people. They eat the good people who are just trying to live their lives.
Oh.
My Eve's brain is like trying to think of a single carnivore. Give me. I need. What's something that eats meat?
Weasel. A weasel eats meat.
Weasels, foxes, cats.
I see. But so are they turning on their beastly brethren? Are they proud enough to call themselves a name, to associate themselves as such? That's...
Thistle snorts. Trust me, the clawlickers don't call themselves that.
Balthazar nods, but he doesn't understand.
Aww.
I think Pip has only really heard like rumors of clawlickers in Odoak when she was still there, because obviously it's a big city and it's full of both like typical prey and predatory animals. But there is an understanding in Odoak that if you live in Odoak, you abide by the kind of general consensus that you do not eat the other people who live in Odoak. So even the predators who live there, even so like the badgers and foxes and weasels and stoats and polecats and all that, they're all either vegetarian or pescatarian.
I'm sitting here in shame as you easily list off all these carnivores.
Oh no! Sorry.
It's fine.
Oh god, this is like my whole deal. I'm like 2/3 animal facts, and it's not fun. It's really
No, I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. But I think Pip would sort of kind of say is like, well, the most I've ever heard of clawlickers was just the odd rumor of a beast outside of Odoak, or might get back to the big city, but I couldn't ever really picture the I don't even think she knows the word. Like, she was going to say malice, but then she was also going to say desperation, so she just kind of stops talking.
Oh.
Because, like, she can't quite fathom how a beast could, like, turn on other beasts like that. That's quite an abhorrent, like feeling. Like, they're all aware of, like, behemoths, and behemoths will, like, if you piss off a bear is going to eat you. That's kind of how they work. But, like, she's known or been around like badgers and stoats and like other predatory beasts before, and she's kind of never really thought about clawlickers before in that way, if that makes sense. But I think she would still say is like, well, to Thistle, well, given what we might be walking into, would you still come with us? It might be dangerous, but maybe having a stitcher on hand might not be the worst thing, and we could protect you. I say we, and she kind of gestures to Balthazar. He can certainly protect you.
Thistle looks at the map that's sprawled on the floor and scratches their wee head and says, well, I am heading on a very important mission. I'm heading to Summit. Thunder's Nest looks like it's on the way. If what you're doing is to stop the clawlickers, I guess I can help you out as much as I can.
Balthazar excitedly waves the clipboard. And says, Summit! Summit is written down here too as a lead. It has anti-magpie laws. We could find knowledge there.
What was the last bit there? You got cut off there.
Oh, we could find knowledge there, or allies.
I feel like if toads get too excited, then like their croaks turn into little squeaks, like when your voice drops.
Oh.
And very occasionally, Balthazar goes, wait.
Oh, that's incredibly cute. I think Pip were kind of like peering at the clipboard, like anti-magpie laws. She's kind of like,
yes, the magpies. It seems that I mentioned last time the Guild of Nowheres is comprised of magpies only, and it seems that these magpies, they themselves are like a faction, and seem to be allied in some whatever cause they have, whatever reason for meddling. They all seem to be intent on perpetrating it. And Summit, yes, it seems to have anti-magpie law, so perhaps they were wise to the meddling of these feathered folk.
Well,
That suits me nicely. I'm headed up that way. I'll bring you along.
I suppose this is our best bet. So, to the nest first, and then on to Summit.
Yes, of course, and a cause.
So, gathering your wits, your possessions, and anything else, where would you guys like to go? Literally on the map. What route are you taking?
I've got my Dungeons on a Dime scurry map open in front of me. So
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, we have Grinder's Nest, right? Like,
yeah, I guess do we just go along the river bank?
We could, I suppose we could follow the river. I actually, before we set out, can I just sort of quickly just say that Pipistrelle has taken, she has done a very quick drawing, at least just of the area that they are going. So just the bottom corner of the map, basically. Just so they don't
I
get
will
lost.
make a sufficiently smaller version, and I'm going to add to your inventory.
Thank
Southeast
you.
Bristley Woods map.
Thank you very much. Just so we don't get lost.
Balthazar will ask. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just counting because I am dumb. Continue with your words, Balthazar.
Balthazar will ask. Pipistrelle, if it would be easier for you, I could carry this map for us.
Are you sure? It's awfully big.
I suppose perhaps, now that I think of it, leaving it here could help other people who come upon the castle.
Oh, that's a very good idea. We could, if we tucked it safely in that corner in this room, it would be dry and other beasts would be able to find it.
In fact, does this clipboard have other papers in it?
Yes.
Balthazar will unclip one, and presumably there was some writing utensils in Commander Bethany's stuff.
Yeah, there's a sufficient storage of pencils. Pencil stubs.
Okay. Yeah, okay, he's gonna take one of these pencil stubs, and in his very... Actually, no, he has... I remember now that I think we've established that he has, very nice calligraphic writing, because, he's a knight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he spends about 15 minutes drawing the M from basically what is going to be a note that says, "Map here," with a lot of exclamation marks, and the M is, beautifully embellished.
Aww.
It's like a proper drop
How
cap.
bizarre.
Oh god, he's the best. I love him so much.
And actually is gonna say, "Map here," and then may it guide you to your destination.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're lying on the ground with your legs kind of kicking behind you as you sort of draw on the ground.
Oh,
During
yes!
this 15 minutes, is there anything else, Pipistrelle or Thistle, that you guys want to grab from the castle to fill your packs with? Within reason, you can ask for something, and I'll either say, "Yeah, sure, that's there," you find it and you grab it, or I go, "That's a bit of a stretch," or "It was destroyed in the fire."
Oh, sorry, Thistle, you go ahead.
Thank you. Thistle would probably ask Balthazar, if you had to look for bones, you want to bring a bow?
I think, unless the bones have some kind of inscriptions on them or something great, I think just knowing that the bones were here will be sufficient for for our investigative needs.
Right. Suit yourself. Don't think I need anything else. So Thistle has got their shit.
Yeah, Thistle grabbed like a bunch of books and also
Thistle
a silver
is
needle.
stocked up.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Pipistrelle, is there anything that you would like to grab?
I think she would quickly fly up into that post office that was there and see if there is potentially any like ink, paper, drawing equipment, just so she can replenish her stock, because obviously when she was found by the toads, she spilt her ink everywhere. So she wants to replenish it and make sure she has enough stuff to help make help make more maps and drawings, etc.
Right. Because you have a notebook, I don't know why you have ink-stained paper as a carried item. I'm just going to condense that under like your notebook, and I'm going to say that you have writing supplies.
Thank you.
Sorry, also before we go, probably while Balthazar is doing his little
His
note,
calligraphy.
his calligraphy with his like tongue sticking out his mouth slightly.
Yeah.
Concentration. Thistle nudges Pip, kind of points to their arm and does like a little eyebrow. Well, the lizards don't do lizards.
Like a shrug.
Like, you know, like a...
I just imagine you awkwardly stare at Pip because you think you're moving your eyebrows, but you don't have eyebrows to move. You have like
just
bony ridges.
staring dead into her eyes, is kind of like tapping their own arm.
Oh, yeah, no, she understands. How do I say this without giving it away? She looks over to the spot and then looks at Balthazar and then looks back at Thistle and shakes her head.
Thistle shrugs and wanders off.
Yeah. It's an incredibly cryptic
Cryptic exchange.
Oh god, I wish I could tell you, but I also don't. I don't want to
It's
tell
our
you.
secret handshake, don't worry
It's our
about
secret
it.
handshake.
They've already had their like life-changing adventure together in the castle.
Honestly,
and-
kind of.
there was
So-
something that happened that was a bit of a sort of bonding moment for the pair of them, and it was a lot.
God.
Oh god. But I think, kind of trying to gloss over that, I think Pip wants to go and see, like, she likes drawing. She wants to see, like, how Balthazar is getting on with his drawing.
Well, I think you make your note, Balthazar. You are able to stash the map somewhere dry and safe. Yes, it is a beautiful M, followed by at here.
By a mediocre rest of the letter.
And also,
still...
just for clarification, because I don't think you fully maybe realized it, but like when it said hold all, source of Chlorlica Riots and Good Front Moment, it also said send Jock and Ivor. Those two toads that went west, that's where they've gone.
Yes. I did notice that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think actually he's going to kind of double check this and then write down another note.
Mm-hmm.
He will spend another 15 minutes on the first letter. And we'll say it's a note that basically kind of summarizes the events here and says it's something kind of in lingo such as Commander Bethany Limnall missing, a continuing investigation, heading for Grinder's Nest, and then Summit. Just that kind of very direct communicative, like means of so they see it and they get the gist of what happened, and he's going to leave it. Did we? There was that broken flycatcher near the cat, right?
Not broken. It's Bethany's flycatcher, and it's still stuck in the cat.
Okay. Then I think just in preparation, he would go get that flycatcher, and then in the castle use it to basically like pin the message down to like a table so that as soon as toads come in, they're like, that's a fucking flycatcher.
Yeah. It is a pretty grim, gory business to extract this sword, and you notice that the cat's mouth is open and there's like a pool of blood on the ground as you do this, which is different to where you saw it before. At this point, the body is quite stiff.
Yeah.
So you're just like, ugh.
Yeah,
I'm
and I mean,
sorry.
he honestly, he presumes that the mouth just, opened.
Mhm.
Even though I think something else happened. But he, with his forecunning, presumes that the mouth just kind of was, lolled open.
That's what happens when you die. You open your mouth and blood comes out.
Nature's red water flies right out.
God.
He's just gonna kind of stand next to he's just gonna survey the cat for a bit. Not survey, he's just kind of, having like a quiet moment. And is even sure what he like thinks or feels in this moment. And I think he's kind of, especially about learning about after learning about the claw lickers and all, I think he's kind of trying to process whether this creature truly had a mud lust, if you will, for flesh. We'll return to have this very clear indicator of toads were here. Here's a message from Toads for Toads, presumably.
Toads for Toads.
Toads for Toads, the non-profit organization that he has just created.
You can register that next time you enter a legal office in a big city. For now, though, you are making your way to Grinder's Nest, I presume?
I think so, yeah.
Yay.
We're on our way.
Well, that requires us to draw a fortune.
Ooh.
Fortune time!
It's been a while, my friends.
It has been a hot minute since we've had a fortune, my goodness.
So, I'm going to my spreads. I'm grabbing a relevant spread.
This is so exciting. A game mechanic. A new game mechanic for me.
Ooh.
So, I'm going to deal to myself 3 fortune cards. To Brian. Deal. Can't draw from the deck when there are no more cards. Okay, that is...
Oops, sounds like an issue.
Recall all. Deal. I know how this works. Deal. What do you mean there's no more cards? I recalled them, you foul thing.
You foul thing.
A good save. I would say the fuck word.
Oh shit, what have I just done? There we go.
It's being mean to me, so I'm just gonna...
You have physical cards, my dude.
Oh, I did. They were in the discard pile.
Oh,
I'm an
oops.
idiot.
We'll draw them up again then. Oh,
Okay.
Oh.
Could you chill? I can't even see them on my screen because I've hidden all of the names. Okay.
I'm so excited to get a fortune.
Okay, Brian, card. What are the 3 things that we've got? We've got that theme, we've got that theme, and we've got that theme. So the way this works for Eve's benefit is I will read you a fortune, for example, unrustled by the winds of time. I will read you 3 fortunes, and you will pick the one that you think sounds the most interesting for the story, and that will give us a scene for us to explore on your journey to Grinder's Nest. So your first...
Sorry, just a very important thing for Eve's benefit. If you look above Brian's little icon, it has 3 cards. If you click on it, then you have to try to steal them all.
This is very important information.
This is very
Thank
important.
you so much.
Yeah.
Knowledge of how to play.
Yeah. There you go. Sorry.
As players, this is crucial information.
You really need to do that. Every time that Brian draws cards, just try to steal them.
So Balthar just drops dead.
Balthazar's name was written in the death note, and he has a heart attack.
Yeah, gone. So your 3 fortunes are bird with a broken wing, the end of a beast, and secrets shared.
Okay, the second already happened on multiple axes.
Secret shared.
See, I like bird with a broken wing rather, because what if it's a magpie?
Oh.
But secrets share is also exciting. I do.
Well, actually, you know what? I want to keep my secrets a little bit longer. Let's do bird.
I think the bird one is really interesting because, like, we are kind of looking for magpies. Who's to say that we won't find a magpie? Yeah, I vote. I vote for the first one too.
Bird with a broken wing.
Pure
Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
I think so.
Bird, please.
Okay.
Bird, please.
Bird now.
Birdie, birdie, bird.
Boop.
Birdie, bird.
Boop. And delete. I've removed the cards that are not relevant from this game, and if you try to... Oh, go away! As... Oh, no. As you are walking...
I had to do it once.
The route along towards Grinder's Nest is a fairly smooth one. It is open grassland on the right-hand side, and to the left you follow along the river. I've drawn the route for you, very basic. And it's maybe... I mean, we have a scale on the left of the map, which I will scroll to show us. But each of the little squares that we have here is a day by pour. Pretty much.
Okay.
So
Do
it
we
is
have
maybe
that on Sorry.
We don't have it on the drag thing, but I can fix that. But like the little squares of the map, the grid, that's a day by pour.
So we're looking at
Of space.
practically 2
Maybe
days.
like a day and a half.
Yeah.
So like
Oh,
you spend the first half of the day getting to about here, and it is a fairly smooth hike. The clouds become more and more overcast, and you see on the horizon that the skies are getting darker. As you get towards your first night on the road, a storm starts to blow in. There's like spatterings of rain. The wind is picking up. The sparse trees that are like dotted around the landscape, because it's not like just all fields. There are some trees and bushes and stuff like that, and they all start to whip and blow with that sort of like tumultuous susurration that like a coming storm brings.
Susurration.
What
Sorry,
are you guys?
Excellent word.
Never heard that word, but I like it.
It means like whispering sort of sound.
Oh. Sorry.
So, what are you doing? Like, night is falling, you've not made it to Grinder's Nest yet, and a storm is blowing in.
Well, we should set it out. It could be rather dangerous. We could tell scary stories by the fireplace.
Ooh, that's cute. I think Pip would sort of agree. She's very light, so even walking as she has been, she's getting blown hither and thither by the like just by the wind.
Balthazar would insist that she walks behind him so that he blocks the wind.
Even then, I feel like Pipistrel is like you kind of like a kite. There's moments when like you lift up a little bit off the ground, and you're like, oh, and you kind of fall back down.
Grab onto Balthazar's belt or something.
I was gonna say, I was actually about to say, like, I imagine that she's like holding on to like his belt or the back of his tunic or something, so she doesn't blow away in the wind.
Yeah.
And I think sorry. No, Thistle, you go ahead.
This pace is actually probably faster than what Thistle has been used to, because you know they've spent their whole life in Holdall and now just kind of set their own pace on their adventure. So they're like desperate for a sit down. This is a perfect excuse to stop for the night.
Mm-hmm. I would say, like, I'd like to imagine that Pip kind of yells over the wind. Maybe we should find a ditch or a dense bush to take camp in. She doesn't want to stand.
What's the beast equivalent of being like, thank God?
Thank the stars. Maybe?
Is there thank the stars?
I think. Well, it
Well,
kind
Make
of
one
that's
up.
That's what toads would say because they like the
Okay.
stars.
Yeah.
But also, the great thing about Beast Fables is just enjoy it, make it up. What do lizards
Yeah.
say
Yeah. Listen.
I'm trying
instead
to
of
think
like,
of
thank
something.
God, or like, oh God?
I'm trying to think of something like.
They
Thank
should
the dinosaurs.
praise the sun. Lizards.
Praise the sun.
Praise the sun.
T-pose.
I'll scratch my scales.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh my god, I love that.
Scratch my scales, crack my egg.
Yeah, I was gonna say like crack my egg. They say some sort of lizard epithet because they want to sit down in a hole.
Mm-hmm.
Something clever I will think of for next session.
It flies over Pipistrel and Balthazar. It flies over your heads because you've never really like hung out with lizards before, which is why we're not saying it right now.
Exactly.
But we will.
We will.
I would never crack your eggs. Don't say that. That's just horrible. That's preposterous. Balthazar will. Sorry, I don't know. Like he's going to. Yeah, no. Both of these, both of them want to have a rest. So he's gonna start looking for a place. He's not good at it, but he will start looking
Okay.
around because he's a sturdy little boy.
I think it's hilarious. I would like you to make a cunning roll for me because you're relying on your senses to look at your environment. Do you want to tag? No, straight up.
Oh god!
Let's take it. Let's take it.
The hijinks.
You-
Pipistrel is still holding onto his
Cave.
belt.
No, it's like I have found a cave. It's strangely full of teeth. It's on the inside, but it's on. Let's go right in.
You are, because you're so used to traveling with the Mud Furies, you look around and you go, perfect. And you wander over towards like a slightly damp patch of like waterlogged, like muddy soil near the river where like the water shelf is broken underground. And you sort of just like settle down into the mud and you go, perfect. And then there's sort of like Thistle and
My
Pipistrel sort of
friends.
standing in the mud next to you like,
No, you have to bury yourself inside.
It's a very funny joke. It's a very funny joke. Let's find somewhere warmer.
I think Pip,
Yes,
who
right.
I imagine probably would have let go of Balthazar's belt before he just kind of like got into the mud. I think she like grabs Thistle's sleeve, and is like, "Let's, Balthazar, stay here for a minute. We're gonna go and look for a shelter for us non-toads." And I think she's now also going to like look around for like if it's like a dense like rhododendron bush or an ivy bush or something like where they could take shelter, or like a ditch or something like a tiny cave, a crevice.
I would like you to make a cunning roll for me, and I'm going to give you advantage because you know that rhododendron bushes would grow nearby, which is great.
Thank you. Cunning roll with advantage. Thank God.
5 and 1.
Yay!
The hijinks would be I just blow away.
We never.
Pipistrel leaves the
We
adventure.
never see her again.
She's blasting off again.
At the speed of wind. So I'm going to say that you find some sort of rough scrub near the road that you're able to sort of like tuck and weave a little bit to make more of a wind block. So that's like you've created shelter against the wind. The kind of rain kind of drips through, and you're probably going to get wet being in here, but it's better than just being out in raw storm.
Yeah,
Thistle, what are you
100%.
doing to help reinforce this shelter?
This is not, again, I'm not really a man of the land, so I'm just kind of taking Pipistrel's lead, kind of copying what she does, not asking what they should do. seeing Pipistrel like windproof this little hole and just copying her.
That's really sweet.
So you sort of are going around and patching. If you didn't have advantage, Pipistrel, you would have gotten it. So you sort of you patch and you sort of clamp down in this sort of like dark, slightly damp bit of bush and just sort of let the night fall. The sun disappears behind the mountains. The grey kind of clouds above go from that sort of like light grey to darker to just inky cotton wool floating in the sky before all vision is lost. Balthazar can see fine because night vision. But Thistle and Pipistrelle, you are pretty much blind.
Oh,
and
God.
Yeah.
I feel like Pip is like a little bit worried because like she doesn't want to have like left just Balthazar in a mud puddle somewhere.
Back. You had him wait there for a second.
Yeah,
Well,
like I think. Yeah, like I
And
think.
he's still waiting.
Yeah, I think once the shelter was ready, I think she again would like tugging on Thistle's sleeve. I think she would like she would yell basically like, "Let's go and get Balthazar," because like she doesn't want to leave him in the hole. So like, you know, before like night really settles, I think she wants to like run and get him and ask if he wants to come into the shelter. It's not a mud puddle, sadly though.
Balthazar, will you make a vigor roll for me? Straight
Yes.
vigor roll.
Oh Jesus! My vigor's a D4 right now. So that... wait, but we rested. Would I have gotten it up or no?
So you rested and you raised one stat and you chose to raise willpower, not vigor, for story reasons.
I'm
Critical
a strong
success.
boy, though.
Yes.
Hey.
Balthazar is still awake. You're sort of enjoying
God.
like just this nice damp mud puddle. It's a simple pleasure, and you sort of like
I'm a
slowly,
simple man.
lazily raise one eye as you kind of realize, oh, it's a little bit darker than it was before, and you see Pipistrelle like fumbling through the night towards you.
Yeah.
Howling his name.
Yeah. Oh, Pipistrelle, you have returned. Please join me.
Oh God. While that does look very inviting, we've built a little shelter over here. We could light a fire if you want to come and join us, Balthazar.
To spend time in company, then alone. Especially since you didn't want to stay here with me, so I will gladly join you at your own camp. Yes.
Oh,
Schwak as he kind of like pulls himself
sort of-
out of the mud. Yeah.
Like you sort of like you step out of the mud and it sort of like drops off of you in the way that like sticky mud clumps.
oh
Yeah.
God, that's just wonderful.
Yeah, he's gonna
Oh, God.
walk after.
You know how like Toad, there are all those gifs of like Toad's doing like the little wiggle dance. I feel like you do a little
Yeah.
wiggle dance and like shake off some of the
Yeah.
mud like a dog.
Yeah, he does a
Love
little
it.
wiggle. But if it's like raining and windy anyway,
Mhm.
at least he's gonna get rid of it by the time that he dreams he goes
It
into
just
shelter.
Yeah.
flies off.
Yeah.
There is rumbling in the sky up above you right now, of distant thunder.
Oh gosh.
Thistle has a lantern and candles.
Ooh.
Can I just light those up?
Yeah, you can. It's a little difficult because it's like everything is damp now, so you sort of like as you like strike a little tiny bit of iron against a little tiny bit of flint to like this tiny little fire. You struggle, but eventually there's a and like as the candle lights up. I hope you can hear all these beautiful sounds.
Awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
making.
I was-
Totally was.
Yes.
That
Thinking
was-
about how glad I am that you turned off Crisp and we can hear your beautiful sound
That
effects.
was really good.
Mhm.
As you get back, you see. This is the thing I love about like the scale of Beast Fables is that like the flame from the candle is pretty big
Yeah.
because
It'd be massive.
fire is like in the same way that, like little beads of water are big to animals but tiny to us. Like this fire is like pretty significant little flit, and you're sort of like as a lizard loving warmth, sort of cradled around this little lamp, like like a water bottle.
Oh, that's cute.
That's very cute.
That's adorable.
So
I think-
the three of you are now sheltered in this little drippy bit of bush.
It's the best we could do.
I feel like I want to.
Oh god, I didn't mute. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry if you heard any clanking and clonging. I was
You're good.
I was putting a variety of chew toys on my dog's feet so she would stop ripping up her bed. Balthazar, I think, will kind of have this moment of like, I suppose if we shall be traveling companions, you should also meet Lucky. He says this to Thistle, and he's going to take out like what kind of looks like a hooded lantern, and he kind of opens it up, and from the inside a glowworm crawls out, and it's been sleeping, it's been curled up, and it kind of like shakes its little body and unfurls its antenna, and glows with a green kind of I guess light, yeah. As
sort
it
of like how a
chirps.
like a long strip light fluorescent bulb first turns on. There's sort of like a
Yeah.
Adorable. Oh my god, I love that.
I have a lizard fact question. This is not a declaration of intent. Lizards eat glowworms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. So, for example, insects are known, established as being insentient. They are eaten for food, but also you can have them as pets. For example, people give caterpillars in their cocoons as gifts in the same way that you would give like a bouquet of flowers, because the butterfly will eventually hatch from the cocoon, and then you just spend 2 or 3 days drying its wings, and so they're just going to spread them out, and they're like a beautiful
That's
thing you
so
can then just
cute.
release. So
That's
yeah, like
adorable.
you eat glowworms, but like you would have the social context, not to be like, oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's the female. Like it could well be that, for example, it's normal that you eat male glowworms, but the female glowworms, which I think are the ones that they glow brightest, and I think they have a longer lifespan. So like they're kind of bred. Like the idea is that these bugs and stuff are like bred much like you would breed livestock animals for certain purposes. So like you'd know that this is like a working glowworm, right? That it's supposed to be.
That was just for
a lamb.
For me to know. It's not again not for Thistle to do.
Yeah, no worries.
Thistle eats a glowworm, Balthazar eats Thistle.
Yeah, that is how it would go.
Well, goodbye, Thistle.
Yeah. So you have chosen death.
I think the fact Thistle isn't really quite sure what to make of Balthazar. Like they've got a pretty good idea of what Pipistrel's all about. But Balthazar, who has declared the intent to murder beasts in the past, and is also just kind of like a bumbling, jolly fellow. The fact that he's now unveiled this little glowworm as like his travel companion delights both me and Thistle. Oh, hello, Thistle. No, not Thistle. Hello, Lucky. It just kind of like wiggles his claw like the way that you would wiggle at like a bird in a cage or something.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, Lucky probably like gently touches your finger with its antenna, with her antenna, and oh goodness, sorry, I have to stop my dog from wanting to stretch it. Hey,
I feel like Icky Lucky at this point starts to like chew on your tunic, idly just like gumming it.
Yeah,
with the little pincers, this is like mam.
I'm sorry, I didn't even, because like we were in the middle of like us talking and I couldn't just start like going leave it to my dog. I just had to like manually move her. Sorry, she's bored and she's kind of nibbling at the seams of her bed, which I would like for her not to do. Balthazar would just say, yes, Lucky has been with me for a long time now. She was a graduation present when I finished my it was when he finished. Oh, when he
became a squire.
When I finished my squire, when I became a squire.
So, what is it you're a squire of? I don't really understand the whole mud angry thing.
Mud well, I am not a squire anymore. I am a knight now. However, I'm also a Mud Fairy. So I suppose, where do we start? A toad logs are out there. And I was born in one. And I'm a toad. And, all of us toads train to be knights. I mentioned before that our logs are a little out of the way. We don't, we're fairly self-sufficient, and the places that we make our homes are places that other beasts tend not to inhabit, maybe apart from our fine frog cousins. Because we tend to be, as mentioned, quite self-sufficient. We also tend to be isolated, and matters of strays and vermin do come knocking on our door. Beasts who have, I suppose, decided to turn to less kind ways of living and ways that would prey on others to supply them with the means of survival, or simply for satiating some greed or malice. As thus, toads have knights who defend our logs and fight what needs fighting. It was in the Boer Wars that we made ourselves a little bit more present, as the presence of the Boers themselves was a common foe to all in the Bristley Woods. And we took up arms and made allies and marched for battle to aid everyone, not just ourselves. And now, each of our logs, we correspond between our different logs. I come from Blueberry Log, the great log over Blueberry Pond. We have other logs like Thorn Log and insert name here log. And we are all looked over by the Council of Toads. Well, we have our individual knights for each log. Among the knights of all the logs, sometimes warriors are chosen to become more elite fighters. These are the Mud Fairies. They tend to the matters that rise beyond a single log, and they also find themselves traveling outside among the other beasts of the Bristley Woods, gathering information.
Is it at this point that lightning cracks in the sky and the storm really is picking up?
Jumps.
I think yeah, with the crack of lightning, Pip would look to the light and then shuffle closer to Balthazar.
Worries now the weatherworts of the Toad Council would have you know that such displays, as mighty as they may be, tend to be harmless to little creatures like us. Lightning likes to strike great and big things rather than small and humble beasts closer to the ground. It is also why it's always important to be grounded in the mud. That way you do not need to fear lightning at all. After all, electric types cannot do any damage to ground types.
Pokemon theme starts playing.
Gotta toad 'em all.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, Mud Fairies are a more, I suppose, secretive, or maybe not secretive. We of course know of the Mud Fairies, but until I was summoned to their ranks, I never quite had any chance to interface with them. I suppose my old mentor Lavinia, she actually used to be a Mud Fairy, but she decided to retire that lifestyle and return to the Circle of Knights in Blueberry Pond. Yes, that is what we are about. Solving problems that exceed the scope of a single log. And I mentioned to you, to both of you last time, that there has been trouble among the logs that has caught the attention of the Mud Fairies. And in our pursuit of the root of these problems, the source of this discontent has taken us all the way south, here, where we met. Kind of nods.
Seems a bit of an odd choice to dedicate your life to harming other beasts.
Well, I suppose if you put it that way, it does sound rather, doesn't sound particularly honorable, but I'm surprised to participating in the community and society of the Bristley Woods. Things are done in a much different way. See, all the way outside of the confines of the rules of the guilds and the variety of laws that beasts have decided to follow, you will find that those who decide to be unlawful, well, must be dealt with swiftly and assuredly. We do not mean to be cruel in our warring, I suppose, in our battling, but it is a necessary task that we must take. Otherwise, we would be overrun by those who wish us ill. We do not seek out beasts to fight. Quite often it seems that they seek us, thinking us a easy target as we live beyond the rules of the guilds and the communities of the Bristley Woods.
Another strike of lightning peels across the sky. There's a flash that sort of turns the warm glow and the sort of the green and the red lights of the inside of your little shelter into shadows as the sky lights up, and then back to the glow again.
I think Pip has been listening to Balthazar talking quite rapidly, and is I don't know, something about the atmosphere, the lamplight, Icky Lucky, the lightning. She's the way it kind of illuminates both Thistle and Balthazar. She feels very awkward all of a sudden, but is going to continue to listen intently to them.
And you, Thistle, you have described yourself as a Stitcher. I have met one Stitcher before, Hiccup. So I suppose our not aspirations, but our roles are quite reversed. I find myself having to fell creatures more often than I'd like to, while you find yourself putting them back together, yes?
Yes, exactly that. And it's often, well, I won't quite say beasts like you, but it's beasts who do what you do that make me do what I have to do sometimes.
Oh, well, not to be particularly grim, but if you cross a toad, you usually don't heal from that.
Thistle is not, you know what? Balthazar was kind of had unveiled Icky Lucky, and they were like, you know what, Balthazar is an alright guy. Now the scales have been tipped very, very far in their favor.
Literally the scales have been tipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toads are hardcore, man. They're bumbling Victorian men, but they're also live or die.
Yeah. Thistle was extremely put off by this and kind of looks at Pippa's shell to see what how she's taking this. What her reaction to this is.
I think I feel Pip kind of would look to Thistle just in that kind of pause and try to convey to them in the best of her ability, you don't have to understand him to know that he is a good toad. I think she's trying to convey to Thistle that despite everything, despite how much she doesn't understand about toad culture, she trusts Balthazar more than anything. So she kind of gives this
not.
I will
like-
say,
sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, she, you know, she kind of like half smiles and just kind of tries to give Thistle just like the smallest, like, reassuring, like, nod, basically, if that makes sense.
I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I just think kind of because Balthazar does have a very high like willpower. I think he's quite. He can be pretty emotionally intelligent sometimes, and I think he kind of like. It kind of has like this kind of stagger, and he's just like, I suppose, please don't misunderstand. We're not warmongers. If I can, I don't like using violence necessarily, but in a world where it is a matter of being eaten, or defeating your opponent. Well, I will choose the route to seeking victory at all costs.
There are other ways to seek victory. You've got the guilds for that. That's what they're for. That's why we have their laws.
Well, that is true, but you kind of Balthazar looks over at Pipistrel and he says, "But then we met those who were branded by them and abandoned by them, and." I believe perhaps not all the rules and laws of the guilds are as what would the word be? Oh, sorry, I forget the words. I'm just forgetting words now. Perhaps not all the rules and laws are infallible.
I think Pip would kind of like nod and kind of and chime in and say, the guilds have been a sort of refuge for many a beast, for many generations, but that does not mean that they have not committed some cruelties as well. Those beasts that we met, those branded unfairly and cast out by the guilds and shunned, I don't think they deserved their fate. And she kind of looks to Balthazar to kind of like back her up essentially.
Yeah, Balthazar kind of nods this rigorously. Says, "Well, of course we had our misunderstandings, but once they presented their case, no, it was an unjust situation. It seems."
This is so blasphemous. This is such disgusting rhetoric. Oh my god. Thistle is not pleased.
Oh no.
Balthazar kind of like I think he says, "Oh well, I suppose at the end of the day, in spite of the differences with which we govern our lives, we do all want the same. We want to be warm on a cold night. We want to have full bellies when we're hungry. We want the comfort and company of others, without it being disturbed by outside sources. We all seek these things the best we can, while trying not to harm others. Is that not the most important thing?"
This argument I feel would sway anyone else. Thistle's extremely stubborn and also not very
Open-minded.
good at coming back with like an argument.
Oh yeah.
They're just like, in their mind they're just like, no, you were wrong.
That's fair.
There's also, I feel like, an exploration of some of the thoughts that are coming to you, Thistle, like the instinctive reaction to hearing like branded. There's like it's part social, part anecdotal, part literal, having seen this. The branded are worse than the clawlickers, because at least the clawlickers have the like flimsy excuse of, well, it's in my nature, but the branded are murderers and the most vile beasts.
Yeah.
They cannot participate in society, which is why they're branded. They chose to do this.
Yeah, I have no sympathy for the branded. And especially having, found almost like a little friend in Pipistrel. Hearing her say this, especially since, did you say that she didn't have a guild? But I'm like, oh, well, you must be a map maker or a nude messenger, something like this. I'm like, well, surely, how can you believe this? This is all what's going on in my mind. Like, it's all very well and good for Balthazar to say this. He talked about killing someone earlier.
I'll do it again.
I'm feeling a little betrayed and almost kind of like I've fallen in with the wrong crowd.
Oh no!
Maybe
Almost
I should...
punctuating the awkward silence that stems, there is a cacophonous slash of thunder.
Lunder.
The ground shakes, and you hear and feel like the crackle of energy in the air. And you see in the afterflash, glowing in the outside the bush, there is red embers as lightning has struck a nearby tree.
Oh.
And there is creaking and cracking as it starts to fall.
Oh god!
Are we in its way?
I would like Thistle. I would like you to make a cunning roll for me.
I'm checking if I can tag anything. I don't think I can tag anything. Cunning. Let's go.
Oh, yay.
That is a success, a 4, if you just rolled that. The tree is not falling towards you. It is falling adjacent to the river and away from you.
Yeesh.
As it falls, you hear a shrill cry of someone. Just like terror.
Yeah, Balthazar jumps up to his feet.
How? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, please.
Hearing the cry, I think Pip is going to, like, her ears will start, like, twitching, and, like, she's trying to pinpoint the direction that came from.
Well, from the tree.
From the tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tree at this point crashes with another thunderous, like, boom, and it kind of shakes all of you a little bit as it kind of falls over, and you kind of pop your heads out of the bush. There is, like, the glowing red heat of where the lightning struck the tree, which is, like cooling in the falling storm rain. And you hear a kind of almost absence of sound now from the tree.
Balthazar will, because we rushed out, yes? Sorry, I had like a...
Oh, you can, moment. Yeah.
Oh, well, Balthazar will rush out and say, hello! Hello! Because he heard the yell.
And we're going to make a vigor roll for me to see how loud you can yell in the storm.
Oh, no!
You yell out, you break out of the brush, and it kind of collapses the shelter that you've built, and now the full, force of the storm starts to blow around and through you. Thistle, now exposed to the storm, your candle just goes out. It's so strong that it snuffs the candle inside of its little case. So you only have the light of Icky Lucky, who immediately tries to bury herself into your, sort of armor and jacket, Balthazar. Because it's cold and wet and windy.
Yeah.
Balthazar, you yell, and, your voice is gone in the wind.
Can I think following Balthazar's lead, I think Pip would have, run out as close to Balthazar as possible, because obviously the wind is blowing really strong. And on his shoulders.
Yeah.
I think she, in the direction of where the yell came from, she's just going to start trying to use her echolocation and see if she can locate whoever it was.
Yeah, go for it.
She has a better vantage point from your shoulders.
So I would like you to make a cunning roll for me. You have disadvantage because you're in the storm. Do you want to tag anything?
Yes. May I tag, please? May I please tag my orientate? Because I am relying on the sort of listening to where the tree fell and where the yell came from, and focusing all of my energy into the echolocation into that direction in particular.
Yeah. Okay, make a cunning roll for me straight.
Thank you very much. Oh, yes!
So that is an 8, a success. You are able to hear through the howling of the wind on top of it, almost like there's like multiple levels of like stimulation happening. You're able to hear kind of like strained whimpering from towards the direction of the tree, even if you can't really see the tree or the situation.
Okay. I think because it's because it's too loud, and I don't know how much the other two will be able to hear her. I think she's gonna tap Balthazar on the head.
Yeah, ratatouille me! Ratatouille me!
She's gonna pat him on the head and just point in the direction of where she heard the sound, and then she's gonna turn back and look at Thistle and just kind of wave, and then also point at the point at the tree, indicating that she and Balthazar are gonna run that way, and they might be hurt. So maybe please come.
Yeah, no, Thistle, even though oh, these two kind of suck. They don't want to be alone. They're gonna skitter after these two.
So
Balthazar will wait to see if Thistle also wants to jump on his back. For the legendary mount, Balthazar will take them where they need to go in. He's kind of lowered a little bit, like you would for someone to jump on your back for a piggyback, just kind of eyeing Thistle as if they get up and want to follow. Thistle presumably just kind of whizzes past them, and Balthazar's like, "Oh, okay," and runs with Pip on his back.
Well, as you run into the blowing storm, I'm going to say we're going to end today's session.
Oh no! I was getting so into it.
It seems like a nice, neat point that we can pick up from for some exciting action. Next Thursday, our regular streaming time. Yes. Cliffhanger who?
Oh my goodness!
I have been Brian, your delightful, if scatterbrained narrator, and I've been joined today by Atlanta, Ver, and Eve.
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 Eve. Eve. Eve. Eve. Eve.
Eve. Eve.
Eve.
Okay. Eve. That's it. That's the end of our show.
Bye.
Pipistrel, Ver, Eve, do you want to introduce yourselves real quick?
I love that Atlantis Pipistrel now. I will start. I have been Ver. Yeah! See ya, everybody!
Atlanta.
Hi everybody, I've been a bat. Follow me on Instagram.
We're all so frantic now.
Eve. Go.
Eve!
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 The racist lizard.
No. That's it! Well done!
That's it. Thank you for joining us. And if you get a chance, check out the Apothecary Kickstarter funding right now. I'm going to be refreshing that page all day today and doing nothing else. I might do some dishes while refreshing that Kickstarter page.
Yeah.
Hope you all have a lovely week. We will see you soon. Bye for now.
See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.